Sadau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The question, the third question, here are the third question. And the third question which was asked was, you are telling that everything is made up of 5 elements, and but if I try to put together 5 elements, I certainly cannot produce a walking, talking, thinking individual, or anybody who is able to engage in the world intelligently. So the answer to that question was, there is that the same Ishvara, which is the cause of the universe, which manifests the whole universe. The same intelligence has a capacity where it converts the external air when it is breathed in to do a very specific job, and that is what we call prana. This, as you breathe in the external air, which doesn't seem to have any life, it actually begins to do very important functions. So there are 5 functions that it performs. The minute the air enters into your physiology, it performs 5 functions. And the 5 functions, as we saw, the first one is prana. As you inhale, what happens is, not only you inhale, which keeps the body alive, your 5 sense organs begin to do their job. Right? The eyes begin to see, your ears begin to hear, your nose begins to smell. So that is what the role of prana is. In addition to that, whatever data which is collected by the sense organs, they are useless unless they are processed by the mind. So that means this prana, which keeps what we call the body alive, also enables the mind to function. And the function of the mind, as we saw, are 4-fold. Whenever any data is received from external world, it produces emotions. It produces a certain, through your logical analysis, you arrive at certain facts. That is also part of the faculty of mind. The third faculty is memory, and memory, as we saw, are 2-fold memory. One is the conscious memory. That means if I ask you, what did you learn in previous class, then what do you need to do? You need to retrieve that information which is stored in your memory. Right? So there is so much memory. And then next question I ask you, where did you grow up? So you have to retrieve that information. So we are constantly retrieving relevant information from our memory. But in addition to this conscious memory, we have what we saw, an unconscious memory. Certain impressions that we have picked up as a child, then what happens is those memories sometimes were too traumatic for the child to process. And there is a mechanism which is available by the intelligence where you can actually temporarily block those memories so that you can function. Because with this memory, a small child is not able to survive. Now that which is a blessing when you are 2 or 5 years old, this intelligence also provides you an opportunity to let it all come out when you are an adult. And then undo the imprecision, right, in your data gathering and your interpretation. That ability is given to you. But unfortunately, most of us don't do that. Because when things are shoved aside, it almost seems as what it's comfortable not to think about unpleasant things. When we shove unpleasant things on the side, they don't disappear. They begin to rule us in so many unknown ways. And we are not even aware of it. And we constantly begin to see what the false outside, and we actually miss the fact that the data may be accurate, but our interpretation of that data, what this data means, there we go wrong. There is a distortion. So when there is a distortion and you don't realize that there is a distortion, you convince yourself that that person is at fault. If you've convinced yourself that that other person is at fault, what would you do to undo that distortion? Nothing. Why? Because you don't even know that there is a distortion here. So that means, with now, what is the problem? That when the mind distorts the facts and creates stories and begins to operate from those stories, at one point in time, it becomes unsustainable. Because your decision making is not in keeping with the facts which are in front of you. Your decision making becomes based on what you see, which may be highly inaccurate. And when you make the decision which is based on your inaccurate picture, then the quality of that decision is going to be what? Poor. And when the quality of that decision is poor, what is the response that you are going to get from the universe? Further distortions. And those further distortions will what? Put you off further. And this is how we keep getting away, further and further away from realities. So that means if you have not processed these things, then what? When you come to Vedanta, it's one of the necessary conditions that you need to undo that distortions. Because if you don't do that, it will interfere in learning. A mind which is not able to receive the data and interpret it correctly, if such a sophisticated knowledge comes to you, such an intricate connections, by the time you receive, what will happen? You will twist it. So therefore, if you really want to receive the profundity and the depth of this knowledge accurately, and for it to bless you, in the process of learning, you need to, right, in addition to listening to the reality, there is a second process, which is what? Corrections and corrections and corrections. So that means this is what, now all this is enabled by prana. Now the final function of the mind that we saw is what? Ahankara. I'm so happy Hanish and Vibha came, because when I use the word Ahankara, for all those who speak Hindi and Gujarati, Ahankara has what? A negative connotation, right? Abhimani che, Ahankar che. Ahankar means what? Somebody is proud. Here when we use the word Ahankara, it is not used in the sense of pride. It is used in the sense of the function of the mind. The function of the mind, which is every activity, which any different thought which is going on in the mind gets related to what? I. That is called Ahankara. So the fact that, see, look at this. I am using my hand. There is a cup and what? it is touching my tongue, and the tongue is gulping the water in. That is what is going on. Do I describe it all like that? No. What do I say? I am drinking water. That's what I mean by ahankara. You understand? What is the reality? The hand is picking up what? The cup. The cup is touching the tongue. And the tongue is swallowing the water. This is a fact. But the brain, what message it gives? I am drinking water. That means the whole exactly I am doing it. So that means this is not only you, every human being has this function. That's why it is a function of the mind. Everything gets related to I am. And that function is called ahankara. Now, in this ahankara, when everything gets related to, I'll explain to you how in our languages this word, expression comes. Why is it comes? Because it's when I relate everything to I am, right? And suppose I have suppose, right? As I live my life, I'm able to accomplish certain things. Then what happens is this functional I sense, what the stories that you create for this, what is happening to me, they become what? Inflated. So how do they become inflated? One fact is, you get what the functional fact is. Yes, if suppose you are intelligent, what is the functional fact? Your cognitive capacity is working well. When somebody is explaining ideas, you are able to capture them properly. That is a fact. But because of this ability, if you start thinking, I am intelligent, and if others don't have the same capacity as you, you begin to look down on them. Oh, this person is so foolish, can't even get this. Then over a period of time, it gives you what? That very accomplishment, which is a fact, gives you what? An inflated sense of I. Inflated sense of I, as Saloni said. That is what we, in our language, we call it what? Ahankara. He has a big sense of I, ahankara. But actually when the text uses it, it is not used in a negative sense. It is just a function of the mind. Now the same I sense, suppose you tried 5 things and you were not able to succeed. The same I sense can be what? Deflated. Oh, I'm no good. This is what we call what? Inferiority complex. So that means, understand, all of us have some I sense. All of us. Because that's a function of the mind. But all of us don't have the same I sense. Why don't we all have the same I sense? Because the situations that take place in our life are different. What we do with this situation is different. What we get out of those situations is different. And as a result of all of that, we all make different stories about which creates our self-image. And we continue to live with this self-image. And as Hanish said very rightly, actually your self-image can change over a period of time. And in fact, it is almost constantly changing also. Morning, you're really happy. Afternoon, something happens and you are not so happy. So your image also keeps changing. So therefore, now, when you come to spirituality, what we are trying is not to eliminate our ahankara. Please understand. Your sense of I is so important that in fact, imagine you start speaking like this, that the body now went to this resort that Neeru took us to, and the stomach is digesting the food. Nobody will be able to what? Relate to you. You need to continue to talk like, oh, I went there, I did this. It's not a problem. You don't need to eliminate it. It's just a function of mind. So we are not trying to eliminate ahankara. What we are trying to do is, if it is highly inflated, then what? There is some distortion. And if it is inflated or deflated, there is a distortion. So what you are trying to do is what? In fact, eliminate those distortions. And when you eliminate those distortions, who you become is a nourished person who has healthy sense of I. You need to have a healthy sense of I. You can't believe I'm nobody. If you believe you are nobody, this big vision of Vedanta, as you will see in the next tomorrow, which shows you that, which equates your real identity to this Ishvara, that is not accessible to you. If you keep feeling I'm nobody, where will you get that vision? And if you keep thinking I'm some great person, you have such a huge, inflated, distorted vision of yourself. Your mind is not ready to capture the real vision either. So you need to get what? Your healthy sense of I. Where you understand what is a healthy sense of I. You have to ask me this question, what does it mean to have a healthy sense of I? It means that you understand, especially after learning Vedanta, what there is this one intelligence which manifests in what? So many different ways, in so many different forms. And I am one of the manifestations. And every manifestation is endowed with what? Some resources, some skills, some intelligence, some talents to express oneself in this world. And it is my own journey in life that I use all the abilities that is given to me in the best possible manner. If this is your vision of life, then these tendencies that we have, we see somebody that we think is superior, what? Feel low, jealous. All these tendencies begin to disappear. We create so many, and the world, the world also, because everybody is what? Distorted. So everybody is what? Hanging on to some artificial things to feel good, and that person makes you feel what? That you are not good enough. So that means, and we all get influenced by it, and we all act with, this, we take on this inferiority complex at a very young age. I'll give you an example. Which actually Rajiv's wife Namrata, who's not here, she told me. This is a very nice example. I give it in many of my classes. So she told me that she heard of a friend who narrated this story to her. And she said that her daughter was invited to a birthday party. And just few days before the birthday party took place, the party got cancelled. And so this friend was a little bit curious as to what happened, why did the party get cancelled. So she called mother of this little child whose party got cancelled. What happened? Why did you cancel the party? And the mother of this child said that my child is saying that she goes to other kids' parties and their homes are so beautiful. They are so luxurious, and she feels what our home is not good enough. A child. And then she feels that if the kids come home, her status will what? It will go down. And nobody would want to be friends with her. So she now doesn't want to have a party. A small child of maybe 6 to 8 years old. Now, why have we created, why does she even think like that? Think about it. She's only very young. Because sometimes the child, we think they don't know, they observe everything. And knowingly or unknowingly, the other kids, they also probably hear their parents wanting to be only friends with people of certain status. So the kids also become like that at a very young age. Unknowingly. And this is what, that inadequacy that you feel, you carry forward and carry forward and carry forward. So at some point in time, you have to, as an adult, you have to undo all of this, because there is an input which is coming by the society, because so many people are behaving like that. And they are reinforcing this kind of what, because if everybody is judging, then you start what? Buying that judgment for yourself. And you have to really see yourself in the only way you can change this, all these complexes that we have, is your connection with Ishvara. That you have to convince yourself you are at the right place, at the right time, with the right skills and the right talents. And if you feel that you are lacking in something, you are given intelligence to what? Work for it. And if you feel that in spite of your working, you are not getting enough, you are given enough intelligence to what? Pray. Pray to fill all the different lacks that you feel in you. And this is why I was showing all these prayers to Lakshmi, prayers to Saraswati, prayers to all the Rudra. These are so important to get what? Fill all the lacks with which we live our life. If you don't fill those lacks, you will not have a healthy self-image. And if you don't have a healthy self-image, Vedanta will not work. Neither high nor low. Healthy because you are intimately connected to the cause of the universe. So intimately, in fact, you are one of the manifestations. A unique manifestation which will not be repeated ever. And you use all your skills and talents in the best possible way, aligned to all the different laws of Ishvara. And pray to those laws to bless you. When I was talking about happiness, Rajiv had asked this question, what is contentment? This is what we call contented person. I'm not here in this world racing. I'm not in competition with anybody. I live life with my own terms. And I create what? Noble goals for me, and I work towards them. And if I do that, all these, what people think about me, what will people say, all this will all disappear like pack of cards because they have no truth. So self-conscious about image, all this will disappear. You live by what you believe in. And then you can be like Gandhiji, who can go to the round table conference where everybody is suited and booted. He goes with his simple dhoti. But when he comes, everybody who is suited and booted is what? Listening to him. And his words are taken what? They carry so much weight. That, any other external, whatever, all these, it all just naturally falls apart. So that means this is what we call healthy self-image. All these are possibilities, and those possibilities are made possible with what? The function of prana. Now, there is the other thing, which is what we call apana. In addition to inhaling, you also exhale. Now, in that exhaling function, which is what the air is taken in and air comes out. When the air comes out, it does a very important function of what? Detox. Because it takes in carbon dioxide and it takes in oxygen. The body absorbs oxygen, and what does it give out? Carbon dioxide. And when carbon dioxide comes out, along with it what? All the impurities come out. And apana function, there are more than different ways through which impurities come out. So the apana's function is to what? Along with the breathing of the air, what? Giving out of things which are impure. So one way that to give out impurities, what? Breathing out. What else? Excretion also is the way through which every day the body what? Throws out the impurities. Without apana, this is not possible. So that means there is apana, then there is samana. What is samana? Samana is while the oxygen is there in this body, this it helps the entire, right, what you are eating. There is an entire what? Digestive system which breaks down the food that you have eaten in what? Small parts, and makes it what? From there it extracts what? Nutrients. So that is what we call digestive fire. All the work of Ishvara. So that means this digestive, in Ayurveda, one of the biggest thing on which they work when you go to Ayurveda is what? Your digestive fire. That's a main thing. What they say is, their model is that your body is made up of 5 elements. And the external world is also made up of 5 elements. And when you take in the food, which also is from those 5 elements, it gives you all the nourishment. It has completeness. It has the capacity to give you all the nourishment that you need. So if you eat properly, what? Every need of your body will be what? Fulfilled. Now suppose you eat everything properly. Many times we don't eat things properly and we ourselves make choices which are not poor, which are not very wise. Then obviously it will create what? Some imbalances, because the intake is not proper. But suppose you you're very, very health conscious and you take all the right foods. But if your absorbing capacity is poor, your capacity to extract is what? Not adequate. Then what will happen? All the healthy food that you are eating is of no use. So that means it will increase your, our whole thing is this doesn't suit me, so I'm not going to eat it. What that doctor told me is it's exactly the opposite. It doesn't suit you means your system is not able to assimilate it. I'm going to enhance the capacity of your system to be able to assimilate it and extract things from it rather than stopping it. It's exactly the opposite. You get that? If I'm taking something good and if I'm not able to digest it, so it is not that thing I should stop. I should increase my capacity so that I can take it, and that has a function that it has to serve for my body. So that is what we call digestive fire, which is a function of what we call samana. Then there is vyana. What is vyana? So here it says that, now this I don't know scientifically if it is accurate or not, but the Vedas have their own way of explaining this whole process. Vyana means circulation. Circulation here, the way it is described in the Bhashyam, the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya, it describes it in an interesting way. It says that the heart, the circulation, this is how the heart has 101 nerves, and then each of these nerves has 100 branches, and they in turn have 72,000 sub-branches. And through all these different branches, the blood which is pumped by the heart reaches what? Every part of your body. This is called circulation. So suppose you go to, now see, this is where the Vedas and Ayurveda and everything is so intricately connected. Suppose you go to an Ayurvedic doctor and say, oh doctor, I have a circulation problem. And let's say you have a circulation problem here, and he will start giving you what? Oil dhara where in the head. And you will feel, where is the connection between, and also here and here and here. And you say, what's going on? I'm complaining of what? This circulation problem here, and he's doing me something totally unrelated. What he is doing is, he has understood that what? There are all these nadis which carry what? The blood. And so it doesn't reach there because it can be blocked somewhere. So he looks at the root and he what? Traces all the nadis and he nourishes those nadis so that what? Anywhere there is a blockage, it will be corrected and it will reach what? Every part of your body. So that means this is how this whole circulatory system works. This is all, please understand, what we are trying to show here is that there is no aspect of creation where there is no Ishvaras. You are not even aware of all these 72,000 sub-branches of your nadi. But somebody has put it together and making the blood circulate every day through those nadis. So this is what we call Vyana. And the last of the Pancha Prana is what we call Udana. What is Udana? The Udana is the last breath. So, according to the Vedic vision, a human life is not counted in terms of how many years you are going to live. It is counted in terms of number of breaths that you are given. So that means from the time that you are born, you are assigned number of breaths. The minute you make one inhalation and exhalation, one gone. So it's a countdown right from the beginning. Every breath that you take, there is one little breath less that you have. And that means, and that breath, please understand how complex this Ishvara's design is. This breath, the number of breath that you are assigned to depends upon what we call the prarabdha karma with which you have come. What is the prarabdha karma? So we have to understand karma means here in this, as I told you, that the action, every action that you perform has two results. One is seen result and the other one is unseen result. So the unseen result is what we call karma, right? Punya and papa. The unseen result of a good action is punya, and an unseen result of an inappropriate action is called papa. Now they all get accumulated. Now as they get accumulated, what happens is we all begin to have an account. And this, what we say, it's not only what is accumulated in one life, it is accumulated over several lifetimes. So everything that is accumulated in our account is called Sanchita Karma, the total account.
Why 7, not 8 or 5?
Sorry?
Why 7 life and not 7, 5 or 6 or 7?
Several.
Oh.
Not 7. No. Countless lives, actually countless lives. So everything that is all together, it is what we call Samchita Karma. What is Samchita? Samyak Chitta Karma, means all well arranged karma. All that you have done is all collected major. Now, it's a huge account. You can't exhaust everything all in one life, which is a finite life of, let's say, 80 years, whatever. So that means, among all these different karmas, one set of karma is going to give you this lifetime, which will begin to manifest in this lifetime, and that is called prarabdha karma. So Sanchita Karma is your whole account, and a given set which comes to fructification is called prarabdha karma. So the prarabdha karma will give you, what will it decide? It will decide your parentage. It will decide your lifespan. Because in order to exhaust these number of karmas, how long you need. That is the breath, and those are the number of breaths that are given to you. Calculations, mathematical calculations. Not for one individual, but for 7 billion population. Intelligence, Ishvara. So that means, and even that prarabdha karma, the day that you are born, it's not like your entire prarabdha karma is coming into fructification. The first day of your life has what? Let's say you have this many prarabdha karmas, only specific karmas will come into fructification on the first day of your life. Then the second day, then the third day. And this is why you don't know what is to come tomorrow. Nobody knows. That's why we all go to astrologers, because what? No, it's a suspense. What is going to come tomorrow is a suspense. What is going to come from one morning to evening is a suspense. There is a very beautiful, I love this thing. It's a lovely saying, I like it. There is a Gujarati saying, there is a very lovely one sentence which says, Na janyu Janaki Nathe savare shu thawanu je. What does it mean? Janaki Natha is Lord Rama. And Lord Rama was going to be consecrated as the king. And all the entire Ayodhya was preparing for his Abhisheka to be the king. And then Kaikai was also preparing. She was also very happy. Then comes Manthara. And Manthara creates a doubt. This is what we say, power of distorted thinking. She begins to plant the seed of doubt in this Kaikai, who was actually loving Rama like anything. And she said, oh, if Rama becomes the king, then your son Bharat will be nobody. And out of her love for her son, she encashes on the boon and sends Rama to the forest. So while Rama was also really getting ready for his coronation and all that, he gets a news that Dashratha is calling you, and he thought that maybe he wants to discuss something. And when he goes to see his father, the father has to bring the news that you have to go to the forest. So from the morning to evening, Rama's life changed. Morning he was going to be the king, the whole city was celebrating, and evening he has to go to the forest. That is the verse. It says he didn't know next morning what it was going to be like. So that means this is how prarabdha karma manifests. Every day is a new day. And every day from morning to evening, you just don't know what is going to come. So this prarabdha karma, as they unfold, then different situations will come in front of you. Now, what can you do when you understand? So that means your breath is connected to your life, and your life is connected to your karma. And as you continue to live, situations come. And this knowledge that the Upanishads give you, they cannot change your prarabdha. Please understand that. Whatever is already a design, you can't change it. But what it can do is, with this wisdom that you receive, it can give you an ability to face any situation with a certain amount of objectivity. That it can give you. And when you face every situation that comes to you with a certain amount of lucidity and tranquility and objectivity and wisdom, what you are doing is you are changing what? The course of your life. You change the course of your life. It's a very, very powerful tool. Otherwise, what happens? If your buddhi is not equipped, difficulty comes, and then what? You again get into this self-condemnation or blaming the world, and all your actions are all very poor, and it just keeps you down and down in a spiral. You break that whole chain. You break the chain because no matter what comes, you don't lose what? Your objectivity. You understand, I have been given the skills and intelligence to deal with every problem or any challenge. Why even name it a problem? Every challenge that comes in front of me. And if I feel that I am not so strong, I pray to that Ishvara and ask for help. Ask for help. Don't pretend that you are brave when you are actually fearful. So this is how the whole combination of using your abilities and intelligence and asking for help is what we call intelligent living. So when this whole life journey is over, this prarabdha karma is over, then what happens to prana? This body which is given as to exhaust that karma, its function is served. So that means the body no longer needs to interact. That given body doesn't need to interact with the universe. So how does the body become not able to interact with the universe? The last prana leaves the body. The body what? Loses his capacity to perform functions. This is what we call the last prana which leaves the body. It is called udana. And it is subtle. This is why when you see the physical body, it remains exactly the same as before. What it has lost is what? Its capacity to interact with the universe. And why has it lost its capacity to interact with the universe? Because there is no prana. So, this is what the function of prana is.
What is Stula Prana? Isn't there one more Stula Prana?
No, I don't know.
In our yoga we do Apana, Vyana, Samana, Udana, and
I don't know. This is prana, apana, samana, vyana and udana. This is classical.
Sorry, say what? Apana?
There is no prana. The prana is inhaling. Apana is exhaling. Samana, vyana and udana.
What about life support where you try to do now?
Yeah. So that means that, so sometimes you can keep the person alive. But the thing is, if actually, what happens, this is an interesting thing. What happens is, suppose you come with this amount of prarabdha karma and you come with this number of breath. What happens is, many times we don't live till the end. Why? Because very often we abuse our bodies. The minute you, let's say, so many times, in young age, people take overconsumption of alcohol, lot of smoking, drugs, all of these things, what it does is, it consumes the body earlier than the time assigned because of your choices, because of the choices, the abuse that we inflict on the body. So there are cases where what will happen is your prarabdha is not yet over. You still have karmas to exhaust. But at the same time, what happens is the body is no longer able to live or go through those karma because it is not in a position. Then what happens is few prarabdha is left, but the body is not in a position, so that means it's really dilapidated. And then you can give it all these artificial things and you can keep it going. But many times it is useless because you're not really able to, just prolonging the body is really not the purpose. The body, according to the Vedic vision, is given to you to accomplish things, go through your journey of life.
So it means that you abuse your body, so your warranty is going to run out years ahead of time.
Yeah,
But
exactly. But you can just kind of artificially prolong it.
What happened when it's exactly the contrary? In other words, the body still works.
Yes.
But your mind is off.
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. Okay, suppose your body is still working.
Well,
Yeah, and your mind goes off. That is
switched off. The recognizing body is
switched off in what sense, Roberto?
very honest. My father-in-law is like this. In 6 months, I'm practically vegetating.
Vegetating, no?
But the heart works well, everything works well. But she cannot get up. She doesn't recognize home. So she's there and she's not there.
That's a good question also. See, a certain amount, this Ayurveda doctor that I went to, and he says, okay, we can improve at a very fundamental level all the balances. So I asked him this question, and I said, so suppose I come to you every year, then I will have a healthy body till the end. So he tells me, I can't guarantee you, because there is another thing which is your prarabdha. See, in our prarabdha, Roberto, there is some amount of pleasures that we are given and certain amount of suffering that we are given. Why? Because a human being comes with what mixture of what we call punya and papa. There is nobody who comes only with punya and nobody comes with only papa. So that means every human being has to go through pleasurable experiences and not pleasurable experiences. Now, what are those non-pleasurable experiences? Either it can come as your health deterioration, or it can come as, sometimes it is not your own health deterioration, but the deterioration of health of somebody else who you have to look after. That is also certain amount of this. It's not easy. Ask anybody who's a caretaker. It's so tough to look after an ailing person. So that means that person has suffering, but you are connected to that person, so you also have some suffering. So that means then those last, that in fact for her, to tell you the truth, if she is really vegetating, there is hardly any experience. So she has some suffering, but not that much, because she is not in a position.
But her mind is still there.
But the mind is still there, so then there can be. So I don't know, nobody knows what's going on in that mind and what, only she knows.
I have read somewhere answer to this question. As you are going in a full speed of 150 kilometers and you put the gear in neutral, put the car off, the car has a traction. The traction will end somewhere. So this is the kind of traction, at the end, journey, is that a traction? You don't know where it's going to end.
Exactly. The
I have another question for you. What you touched upon a very important subject of prarabdha karma. And you said that cannot be changed.
Which one? Prarabdha karma.
And we are living our life on a past karma. But when we are born, your ability to do karma negate this?
Absolutely. Very good question. Superb.
How to do that?
How to do that? Okay, that's as I said, because for every situation that arises in your life, you have to respond. When you respond, what you are doing, you are creating new karmas.
If you follow the universal laws,
So if you follow the universal laws, see there are there are certain ways. This is a very, very good question. How, suppose I have a, let's say, difficult prarabdha, which gives me difficult situations. Can I still emerge as a winner in this world? Yes. The answer has to be yes. And you're coming here and you're investing in the wisdom for that. Because the minute you expose yourself to a wisdom which gives you a much different picture of reality, no matter what comes, you're not shaken and you are able to respond with certain amount of wisdom. And you change, as I said, the course of your life. That ability is given to you. If you underutilize it, don't blame the world.
But at the same time, in the Sanchita karma also gets reduced because you're starting to live life intelligently.
Yeah. No, Sanchita karma never gets actually, because from this Sanchita karma only this prarabdha karma has come, and only that gets exhausted over the lifetime. And the last breath is when all the karmas are exhausted. Your responses, right, to those situations are new karmas that you have accumulated. They have a different name. They are called agami karma. Agami karma means what you accumulate in this life. Prarabdha karma is the karma with which you come and you exhaust.
And say Brahman.
Prarabdha. In fact, I mean, Roberto has a very good point. I think now what I will do is, because I will try to write those words, because I know that it is not easy. Can somebody knows how to write Sanskrit? Saloni, you know how to write?
I know how to write Hindi.
Then write. Okay, let's try. Prarabdha. Right, Prarabdha.
So prarabdha karma is fructification of the karma of the past.
Yes.
And this, it happens in this stage and therefore fructification happens. However, the self-will that you have lets you create new karmas
Which are called agami karma. Perfect.
So that is use of free will, right? When we make our choices.
Yes.
Connected to the free will.
Yes, it's connected to the
Make
free will.
choices,
Yes.
change.
Yes. Exactly. So, have you written Prarabdha, Agami and Sanchita? You've written? Okay. What is Prarabdha karma? The karma that you have come with. Sorry, yeah, what it is, right?
No, they needed it in English.
Is it Prada or Prarab or like
Oh, she needs, oh yeah, right English. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I'm asking her to write in Sanskrit. Yeah, it's totally useless. That's true, that's true. That's true. Yeah, sorry. Both. So prarabdha is what? A certain amount of karma that you have to exhaust within this life. Now, as you exhaust, see, nobody is doomed forever. And nobody is what? Privileged forever. Everything is subject to change.
So that's
And
good and bad.
yeah, the prarabdha, when you come as a human being, there is no human being who comes only with good and only with bad. So each one of us have a fair share of what? Pleasures and some challenges. Makes life interesting. So this is what, as Neelu says, our teacher used to use an imagery to tell how, he says, suppose there is a movie that you go to, and in that movie, you have a hero and is, who's born to, let's say, a scientist, and a heroine who's born to a mathematician, and both of them get married, and what, the hero and heroine are born, and he himself also then goes to what, some top universities, becomes a Nobel laureate. His wife is an accomplished singer and she gets many awards. Then they have kids, and the kids also go to Harvard and Princeton, and they also, one is an engineer and the other one is a doctor. And you suppose you go and see this movie and everything is going right.
So boring.
Then he says nobody will go and watch that movie. Because it becomes so boring. When it is all happening, you are saying, now what? Something has to happen, right?
And vice versa.
Yeah.
If you had a life where everything is
Exactly. So that means you have to have some, and that is, so each one of us, we come with these two, so punya gives us favorable situations. Papa gives us challenges. But how you respond to those will decide what is the new karma that you are accumulating. This is, new karmas are called what? Agami karma. So once the agami karma, there are just too many conversations going on. Please refrain from conversations during the class, because it distracts me. Everybody is like doing their own conversation.
The agami karma, can it be used in this life or that's for the next one?
Okay, excellent question. The agami karma can be used, see, the new karma that I do will have two results. Any action that I do will have two results. One is what? Seen result, and the other one is unseen result. So that means the seen result will immediately give you a result. Suppose you had a challenging situation, and suppose you are able to keep a composure and deal with it. It will give you what? Immediate satisfaction. It is fructifying here and now. Now, what is the future? When will it fructify? Nobody knows. Whether it will fructify, it can fructify in this lifetime itself, or it can be carried forward. Both possibilities are there. This is why if you go to any top astrologer, they will be very accurate in what your past, but nobody can be 100% accurate about your future, because you're constantly shaping your future. Nothing is static.
Again, have you covered it? You are saying that if there is, you've acquired a lot of punya, so we are also saying that if it is not, you're not controlled, you carry it forward. What is carrying it forward? Where do you carry it forward?
Yeah, so this is exactly as I have been telling you. The next few questions will answer what is the mechanism through which it gets carried forward. But as I gave you the logic, see, please understand, the logic of this carry forward of cause and effect relationship, as I told you, is not just ungrounded belief. As I had told you, if you bring to your mind what I had said, you look at any given object in the universe, you look at the tree, how many past causes it is connected to? How many past causes it is connected to? Infinite, not several, infinite. So that means that tree was, where did it come from? It doesn't come from the vacuum. It comes from the seed. The seed itself comes from what? Another tree. That tree comes from another seed. And how far back does it go? It goes back to
Infinity.
absolutely the starting of the universe. So that means any object that is here in this universe is connected to series of causes which run over what? The starting of the universe. So that means there is any cause and effect relationship doesn't work within 80, 50 years. Show me one cause and effect relationship which works only over a certain period of time. It's not there. So that means if I ask you that, hey, this tree is carrying its cause in a seed. Now, if I ask you to break the seed, and if I ask you, show me where is the cause, are you able to show me the cause in the seed for this whole big manifestation of a tree? Does it mean it is not carrying it? It is carrying it.
There's a link.
So that means this is what we say, some causes, see the causes are within that, there are causes which are not, don't think that they are stored somewhere else. Within this entity there are causes stored. Yes.
So if, say for example, you want to analyze as a human being, that you're going on a certain path and if you feel like you're doing, say, the right way of living, that you think is right, and despite that, if you keep getting, say, problems, then how do you judge whether that's from your past karma or whether you're going wrong in this life itself?
Okay.
How do you differentiate? I mean, how do you judge that?
Okay, that's a good question. See, this what Nandini is saying, it implies, that's a good question, because suppose, and then this is a problem of so many people, they said, oh, I'm trying to do everything right, but in spite of that, so many things happen to me, which I'm not kind of, you know.
Do you
So,
look at it as your prarabdha or do you look at it as...
so, exactly. So that means, suppose if you keep on thinking that, oh, it's my prarabdha, what will happen is, you will not try hard enough to solve the problem. So whether it is because of whatever reason, the problem is there, that is a fact. And the whole trick is, how can I solve it? If you can get into this problem solving mode, then you have helped yourself. Whether the cause of that problem belongs to this life action or past life action is irrelevant. It is there, it has some cause. You don't know what it is, but you are given the buddhi to find right solutions. And if you begin to use your buddhi to find right solutions without getting into, oh, life is so unfair with me, oh, I'm no good, then you actually make use of every opportunity. So therefore, this use of this karma, unfortunately, people have so badly distorted it. It has almost become like this kind of a fatalistic attitude. Oh, whatever happens to me, I must have done something, and I have to just suffer it. This is not at all the spirit. Not at all the spirit. Everything that comes in front has a cause, and I have been given an ability to what? Deal with it. And I apply myself, and as I apply myself, I what? Change the course of my life. You can change very, very dramatically the course of your life. We have stories. That whole author of Ramayana, Valmiki, he was a thief. And his job was what? To just steal things from whoever was passing by the forest. One day, Narada is passing by the forest, passing through the forest, and Valmiki tries to rob him. Narada tells him, "Hey, you are doing this action. Why are you doing something like this? Why do you want to steal things from me?" He says, "I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it to what? Support my family." So Narada says, "How many people live in your village?" So he says, "Yeah, there are about 50, 60, 100 of us." He says, "What do the others have, family or not?" "Yes." "They also have to support the family or not?" "Yes." "They are all thieves?" "No." "Then why have you chosen? You can find some better ways to support your family." He says, "No, but I have no skills and I have nothing, and this is easy. I can just grab money from people." He says, "Okay, this is your choice, and this is what your criteria for that choice is. What is easy?" He says, "Now you can make those choices, but there are consequences for every choice that you make." So that means if you have made this easy choice, which is what? Impinging on others people's freedom, it will have a cost. And you think you're doing it for your wife and your child, go home, ask your wife and your child, will they partake in what? The negative consequences. Valmiki thinks, of course, why not? I'm doing it all for my wife and my kids. He goes home and he asks his wife that I've been stealing money from the passer-bys, and now there is this Narada who's telling me that this stealing money will have consequences which are negative. Will you share them? Because I'm doing it to feed you, I'm doing it for your good. Will you share these consequences with me? What is he expecting as an answer? Yes. What does the wife say? No way. Wife says, no. Why should I share these, Papa? Everybody is trying, supporting a family. You are choosing a wrong means. You take those consequences. I'm not taking it. Then he thinks his wife is just always selfish. He thinks, not she is selfish. He thinks. But the kids are going to stand by him. So he asks his kids, I'm doing it all for your future. I'm doing it all for you. Will you share the consequences? The kids say, no way. And Valmiki starts thinking, my God, the way I have been convincing myself is what? I'm doing it for my family. Nobody is willing to share it with me. I'm stuck with the consequences of my action. That triggers a change. He goes back to Narada and he says, my God, I've been fooling myself. How do I transform now? Valmiki gives him, he says, you do a japa of what? Mara, 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 mara. That mara, 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 mara becomes what? Rama, 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 Rama. Valmiki gets so absorbed in this japa, he just keeps chanting Ramanama. And he's so absorbed that there is what? An ant hill which is built around him. He doesn't even realize it. When Narada, after a month, is coming back, returning through the same forest, he sees an ant hill. And from the ant hill comes what? Rama, 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 Rama. And then what? He breaks it open and comes what? That Valmiki's previous name was what? Ratnakar. Ratnakar becomes Valmiki. One of the rishis, he wrote a beautiful story of Ramayana. So that means any human being is given an opportunity to what? Transform. Nobody is condemned to what? Anything. So that means your life is meant to what? You have to make your life a success. And in that success, how will that success come? When you understand life differently. Retaining your fragmented vision, it will not happen. That's why you need what? The whole vision of Veda to bless your buddhi, which makes you see a much bigger picture. And within that picture, within that vision, your life begins to get a different meaning, different purpose, different way of living, different way of relating. So that means this is really this prana. While the body is alive, what do you need to do? While the prarabdha is going on, what? The prana gives you an opportunity to what? Change. And what? Move forward.
With the right action.
With the right actions, right understanding, and aligning yourself to the laws of Ishvara. So that
Interesting to see in another situation, I just thought of it, is that even without a conscious action, you are given opportunities to change your situation. A child is born and given up for adoption, and the child is adopted into a completely different type of family, or some children are abandoned and they are adopted. So the child hasn't done anything, but there is a transformation in the karma.
absolutely.
How does that happen?
That happens because of prarabdha. No? Prarabdha also, and see, not only you are using your free will, but I'm also as an adult using my free will. Suppose you're born in an orphanage. Suppose X person is born in an orphanage. Now I as an adult am using my free will and I'm going to say, hey, let me adopt somebody. It's not you are using your free will, it is who I am using my free will. So that means then what? I'm making such a difference in life of a person. That's a huge punya for me. Huge. So that means any time you do an act of extending yourself, any time you contribute to the well-being of anybody, not only you are helping that person, you are what? Hugely helping yourself. Hugely. And if you begin to understand that, by doing that, there is what? A win-win situation. Because you are helping the other person and you are helping yourself. When will you stop being a contributor? Tell me. When? Never.
pure consumers.
We are consumers till the time our identity is me versus the world. Me, the little one, and the world is all external to me. And when I view myself like that, I'm so insignificant, I'm so small. And my need for the world to be what I want it to be, in order for me to be happy, is so strong. And when the things don't happen my way, what my disappointments are so large. With this kind of a state of feeling deprived, small, how can I be a contributor? Tell me. If you feel so small, insignificant, lacking, inadequate, where is the question of contribution?
Unless I'm satisfied, then we...
Absolutely. In order to be a contributor, you need to be what? A satisfied human being. You need to feel what? I'm taken care of. You need to have the sense of gratitude.
Your cup full, your own cup has to be full.
Absolutely. Only when you have, this is what the healthy self-esteem. When you feel good, then what? Then I have received so much, then you can become what? A big contributor. Big. And that big contribution, please don't get afraid and say, oh my God, how can I be big contribution? Hey, any small thing that you do, that when somebody is speaking to you, and you're not looking here and there, and your mind is on this, and I have to do this, you're just able to be with that person. And listen to that person. And try to see how you can, what you can do either to contribute to the clarity of the person or make the person feel understood with no other agenda involved. And at the end, if you can pray for that well-being of that person, where the person feels, okay, I could release something, you're a contributor. Really. So that means contribution doesn't mean, and if each interaction that you have is like that, imagine. You're fully available at any given point in time with whoever you are, and you're giving your best to that relationship. There will not be many people who would feel who are around you. They would not feel lonely. They will not feel rejected. They will not feel not loved. They will not feel not cared for. That is a huge contribution, because most of the human beings in this world, they have this very deep problem of feeling of not being loved. That's whether we acknowledge it or not, we have such a huge, deep feeling of people don't understand me, people don't love me. And if you can fill that by just giving, you don't have to go and demonstrate some very overt love and all. Just be honest, sincere. Don't put on an act, because that's so evident.
Does that other person feel uncomfortable?
Exactly. Just that genuine, caring, compassionate human being who wishes well for others, who understands people and their predicaments, who is non-judgmental, who doesn't draw conclusions just because somebody comes and tells you, you don't start, oh my God, and tell 10 other people. Don't do that. That people can trust you. These are also some of the biggest contributions. And each one of us is capable of that. And if each one of us begin to live like that, there will be thousands of beneficiaries. So that means this is the vision of the Vedas. This work that Ishvara, the all-pervading nature of Ishvara, gives you infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. And right now, it's your choice whether to collapse those possibilities. And every time you collapse those possibilities, the feedback comes, which the universe helps you in your journey. And this is where, when you begin to live with this understanding, your life begins to flow. Things begin to come to you. That is what we call living in grace. Living in grace, because actually there is no distance between you and Ishvara. Ishvara is everywhere. But that understanding of the presence of Ishvara changes everything. So, this is what the function of prana, and while the body is alive, all these opportunities are given to you. So make use of those opportunities. Now that is the third question. The fourth question we will see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.